Hello, this is Ralph Ann, the Confidence Coach, and I'm here with Skylar Wood for another 15 minutes of fame. Skylar, I met not too long ago, a couple months ago. She's a pageant queen, she's a mom. She participated in the Miss Photogenic Model Search. She is doing all the things. And so, without further ado, I'm going to let Skylar tell you a little bit more about herself.
Yes, thank you. Hi, I am Skylar Wood, and I actually only started my pageant journey in August of last year in 2022. It was very hard. Like you said, I'm a mom. So it was very hard for me to find a system that would be accepting of women who have had children. And I'm not married. I am engaged. Very
Nice.
exciting, but I'm not legally married yet. So it was also hard to find systems that would be accepting of single moms. And thankfully, I have been doing a very good job of that. I currently have the reigning title of Empress Southeast Queen 2023, and I got that just this past February. It's been phenomenal. The Southeast system is a very lovely system, very inviting and encouraging. And I also just won for a preliminary pageant in the Dare to Dream pageantry system, which is also a very inviting system. And I highly recommend
Nice.
anyone from any background to join in that system too.
That's awesome. So,
Yeah.
and you touched on a couple of really important things that I
Mm-hmm.
say, I'm all about inclusivity and
Yes.
trying to find systems that are not as traditional, like we were saying, before the broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
I came from coaching for the Miss America program for 14 years. And you had to be never had been married, never had
Right.
children, and then you age out. Back then, when I was a consultant, it was you aged out at 24. Now
Right.
I
And
think
I'm
that
25, so I'm like
you'd be
not
done.
able to. Yep.
You'd be done. And so I think that, now I think maybe they're 26, but it's just so important
Mm-hmm.
that, systems, nowadays it's 2023, and just
Right.
the reality of it is we all have all these different backgrounds and things have happened in our
Yes. And
lives
life
and
happens.
circumstances.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Life happens.
circumstances happen. So just being able to see real women, and also, you've got an amazing platform, which I would love
Mm-hmm.
for you to share everybody, with everyone, like a little bit more about your social platform.
Yeah, of course. So it is called the You Are Enough Initiative. So I haven't reached the point of fundraising any money for it, but basically what it is, it's explaining how mental health issues affect us, more specifically in young adults, as I am a young adult. I was diagnosed with depression in 2019 during my time at college. And I thought that it just meant that I was broken, which back then I was, but I learned from being diagnosed and then finding specific mechanisms that are more healthier than like substance abuse, which I know plenty of our youth have fallen into, unfortunately,
Mm.
that there are better and healthier ways to cope with the struggles that I do have. I have struggled with suicidal thoughts. Thankfully, I was never successful in any attempt that I did have. And it really comes down to something as simple as a coloring book. I went like 2 months straight coloring books or doing word searches or drawing or journaling just to kind of help with the thoughts that were going on in my head. And I
Hmm.
learned from speaking on those that it helped being open about those kind of struggles, that it helps other people who are struggling to get through with theirs, because I know I felt alone and I felt ashamed and embarrassed to talk about what was going on inside of my head. And then once I actually started opening up, a lot of people were coming to me or messaging me later and saying, like, thank you for being open. I thought that I had to do this alone, or I thought like I had to go to this type of thing or this person or this place that wasn't the best choice for them. And that really like is what's pushed me to continue to talk about those things.
So I mean, I think that that's really important. And that's why I
Mhm.
think that having, safe places where people can just talk about being real. And, I
Mm-hmm.
know, like, all of us as pageant queens, it's more than just the competition itself. We all love
Right.
the glamour and the fancy gowns is part
Yep.
of it. And that cute like Memorial Day outfit that you had on in the picture, that
Oh,
was
thank
everything. Like the
I
red, white, and blue.
I
And
DIY'd the skirt and I waited an entire month to wear it and I could not wait. It was my favorite so far.
that is definitely my favorite. I mean, I'm gonna have to. We're different sizes, but when I do another pageant that needs patriotic look, I'm definitely going to like copy what you
Oh,
did,
go for it.
because
I felt so good in it too. I was like, this is was made for me. I loved this and I felt so confident wearing it too.
you could tell, and that's why this is so important to me. And
Mhm.
like you said, you had different coping skills that you were able to do.
Yeah.
Like I love it, the coloring and things that
Yeah,
just kind of
I know.
occupied your
Things that kind
mind.
it sounded kind of childish when I first mentioned it to someone and I was like, this is going to sound funny. You might not be interested in it, but honestly, a coloring book
Hmm.
or doing like those mandala drawings, they really help. They truly helped.
Yeah, well, and as a coach, sometimes I'll tell people it's about you almost have to go back to more nostalgic, childlike
Mhm.
times because they were more simple, and
Yeah.
it was a happy time. I mean, when I had my coloring books or played with Barbies,
Yeah.
and I still have a Bratz doll now. Like when I had stuff like that, it was just a happy time. It was simpler, and I also
Right.
it allows you kind of to escape a little bit into this
Yeah, it
little
puts your
fantasy
mind
world.
on a
Hmm.
different thought process. Exactly.
Yeah, so I totally get it.
Yep.
But I think that it's just nice to have that safe place, and I don't know if you see yourself, as a coach or as a consultant, but I think
Mhm.
even just opening that dialogue up for other, people who are dealing with the same thing, I think that
Yeah.
pageantry is a great place, to
And
be.
that's what I have thought about. The other thing that drew me to pageantry was wanting wanting the experience. That way, if I wanted to coach other women or help other women find systems or something to help grow their confidence, I needed the experience too. I
Hmm.
didn't want to go and act like I knew what I was talking about when I have never been on stage, and that's why I started with it.
Yeah, it makes sense. We definitely have
Mhm.
that in common. I think that I had shared with you at when we did our photo
Yeah.
shoot that I came back after 25 years, and it was mainly because I knew I wanted to give more, as a women's empowerment advocate, I wanted to coach, but I was
Right.
like I can't talk about just what I did 25 years ago. I mean, I felt like
Yeah.
I needed to put myself back in it, and it's changed so much, but it does allow you to be in a better position to coach and
It
direct other
does.
people if you're actually going through the process yourself. I didn't want to be like a has been, like talking about back in the day, which is fun to talk about, but it's funner to talk about like we were talking before the broadcast. Like I was
Right.
telling you about, pageant I have coming up next year. It's
Yeah.
fun for your coach to be able to tell you the thing now and their
Mhm.
experience of how they've overcome different things. So speaking of which, so tell me, like,
Mhm.
going forward with pageants, like, do you have like, are you just going with the flow, or do you have a certain process in mind? Are you just going to kind of go for it until the bee stops stinging, or
Yeah, I really, aside from the fact that I have loved the confidence that I've gained just in the last several months and getting over the fear of like stage fright or being around other women, because to me it used to be scary to be around crowds of women because I know how they used to be when like it wasn't like a woman for woman type of life anymore.
Mhm.
And now I do want to take that on more as a hobby. I'm very serious and secure about what I want to do with pageantry, but I know that like my goal is not to be Miss World. I definitely want to stop on like a state or national level. I don't want to go to any international level, but I
Mhm.
definitely want to get into more systems. So I have seen not just from like one or two systems and can take like a 50-50 of how the pageantry is going to go. I want to check out as many systems as I can. That way I can take that to other women and like if they have this one fear in say being a mom or
Mhm.
having children or being married or being a certain age, because a lot of systems do have an aging out, which is unfortunate but definitely understandable,
Right.
that I can say, well, here's this system, or if you like these type of women or this type of system for standing for this, then I would be able to give them that type of information.
Nice. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
again, it's kind of setting yourself up to be a
Yeah.
resource,
Yeah.
which I love. In
I
fact,
kind of
one
want to
of
be like a pageant researcher.
yeah, that's so
Yeah.
good. I love it. Yeah, I was in a pageant last year, and and because of I do this, the 15
Mhm.
minutes of fame, I actually a lot of the ladies there knew, and they were like, "So, Truth, are you really a contestant, or are you like an insider that's just gonna go and like tell all about like what your
Right.
experience was like?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm kind of both. I
Yeah, because
like to."
I love being a contestant. I genuinely love being on stage or doing interviews with judges or
Mhm.
doing their fun fashion, showing my personality. I genuinely love doing those things. But I also do want to find those systems that are right for people like me or
Right.
are right for other women that I've met.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah, and it was fun. And I did, fun fact, I did actually come back later and do a video on my experience with that
Mhm.
particular pageant. And it wasn't like, a throw them under the bus type of thing. It was really about my personal
Right, it was just an
experience.
authentic
Yeah, this was
exactly.
my
Yeah.
experience,
I love it.
anything that was an opportunity for improvement that I
Mhm.
felt was an area for improvement. I did voice my opinion, but that's just part of, what I believe. I believe in women speaking their truth,
Yeah.
and it's always going to sting somebody a little bit when you do that, but the only person I really have to be happy with at the end of the day is me.
Right. I mean, that's true. That's very true.
That's it. So as long as I know that I did, and it helped, it serves a purpose. So,
Yeah.
I don't apologize. Like I said, I don't apologize for anything. If it stings a little bit, it stings a little bit, but it was genuine. It was not to throw anybody under the bus, and I will continue, to be a resource and
Yeah.
to give women, a safe place where they can speak their truth, which is what we're doing today. So I would like to ask you though, because I
Yeah.
am women's empowerment advocate and everything I do, all the events, all the programs, everything. I want to just always give women a voice, because
Mhm.
beauty does come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. And so you did participate in the Miss Photogenic Model Search, which
Mhm.
put you a part of that, and you're still a part
Yes.
of our family and will remain. So tell me a little bit. So what does that mean to you when you think women's empowerment and how, just competing in pageants and doing all the things like what does that
Yeah.
mean to you in your life and what you have to look forward to?
Yeah. So, in all honesty, especially in my teenage years, I was not a woman's woman. I was the type of woman I would not want to be friends with today. And I've definitely overcome that. I've taken a lot of like healthy, like what's the word I'm looking for? Well, like I've done a lot of therapy and a lot of like soul searching to get past that. And so today, how women's empowerment is for me is it's genuinely lifting other women up. You hear these phrases all the time, and it's like, oh, but lots of women are fake or they don't mean it. They're just doing it for this type of thing. And I genuinely believe when you are looking for women's empowerment, that's all it is. You're lifting up other women. You're showing them that you can have kids, you can have tattoos. Like I have tattoos in a lot
Same.
of places on my body. And you can have these things and still be beautiful. You can still share beauty to other people. And that, as cliche as it sounds, like beauty is also inside, and other
Mhm.
people feel that. And taking that women's empowerment is just spreading it to others, showing them that they're beautiful and they can be beautiful even if they don't feel that. Other people see their beauty. And that to me is what matters.
Yep, I think it's perfect. That's exact. Yep, that's it. And I love that it means, a little bit of different things to other women that are part of the
Mhm.
movement, that have joined me in this movement. But overall, it's like it's the same thing. It's like,
Right.
we all share like a common part of what it means. And I think that, this really is like a great beginning. It's women's empowerment has always been like a part of pageantry,
Right.
but I think that being able to double down and really, really show the world like this is more than just, fancy dresses and lip gloss,
Right.
that it's more than that. Like I said, and I will tell people like we love all the glamour too, but this is about, like you said, uplifting and encouraging,
Exactly.
empowering other women. And so, that's mainly that. So I, want to have anybody who wants to connect with you, I will have information on how to reach Skylar in the show
Yes, please
notes.
do.
Yes, anybody who wants to reach out, if you know someone, if you kind of connected to her story, or if you know someone that would or did that could benefit,
Mhm.
definitely we want to be of service. So Miss Skylar, I thank you so much for your time today. It
Oh,
was a
and thank
pleasure.
you.
Always a pleasure. And anyway, as always, everyone, here's to you becoming the best version of you.